Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, you're welcome. My name is Rosina Sharon, aka the Queen of Glam. And today we are going back to the basics. So we're going to do a very detailed, updated eyebrow tutorial. And again, nowadays I'm just doing requests from you guys, and you said my eyebrows nowadays look different and you want to see the new technique. So that is what I'm going to show you in this video today. And before you do that, kindly subscribe, share your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll be reading all of them kama kawaida. And if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. Guys, we are on our way to 1 million subscribers. We are doing a 1 million subscribers campaign. So please, if you see this video, subscribe. Please subscribe. Okay, with no further ado, let us go straight into the video. Okay guys, so we're going to start off by brushing our eyebrows up using a spoolie. For beginners, this brush is what we call a spoolie. It's just used to brush through the eyebrows. Okay, so the first step, number one, brush your eyebrows up using a spoolie. And for beginners, it would be easier if your eyebrows are already trimmed. Okay, trim your eyebrows first before you start this. It would be easier for you that way. And then the eye pencil you're going to use to line the eyebrows is Davis number 3. This eye pencil, you can get it anywhere and it is very, very cheap. So any beginner would afford this eye pencil. So for beginners, avoid black eye pencil unless you're very dark. And where to start lining, just at the corner of the nose, the edge. You see where I have how I'm illustrating from down going up? Put your first dot there, just around the corner of the nose, slightly before the corner of the nose. Put your first dot there, so it gives you a guideline on where exactly to start lining your eyebrows. No, not where your eyebrows start, the hairs at the edge of the corner of the nose. Okay, and then the second dot should be just where your eyebrows are curved naturally, on the inner side of that curve. Don't draw the dot below it, just on the inner side of that curve. Okay, where to stop lining on the lower side, follow the angle of your lower lash line. You know where I'm pointing at? That angle like that, do your dot there, so you avoid overlining or underlining. So where to stop lining, you follow that angle for your lower lash line, not the upper lash line, the lower lash line, because on the upper lash line you might underdraw. So follow the angle on your lower lash line. You can put your eye pencil on this, like in this angle, and then draw that dot there, so you know exactly where to stop lining your eyebrow. Please remember, this is a beginner tutorial, so I'm going to explain everything in detail, step by step, so a beginner can understand. Okay, so how to hold your eye pencil? You hold it as, like the way you hold your pen, you know, when you're writing. That is how you hold your eye pencil. Okay, you can use your hand to place over your cheeks as you draw. It is okay. So how to place the eye pencil on the brow? Make sure it is pointing at the brow, okay, not lying flat. Avoid the lying flat technique. Make sure it is pointed, and I'll show you the difference. When you point at it, it gives you a very precise line. When you make the thing flat, you see the eye shadow it gives you, and we want to avoid that shadow. So make sure it is pointing at it and the tip is very, very sharp. Okay, and then now to start lining, we're just going to follow the dots we drew earlier in that angle, going to where our eyebrows are curved naturally. We're just going to follow the exact shape of our eyebrows. Okay, then when you get to where our eyebrows are curved naturally, going down around to the outer corner, we are going to draw it outwards, not inwards. We're going to draw that angle going outwards like that. Okay, and take your time. For beginners, take your time. You don't learn makeup immediately, it takes time, so keep practicing until you get it. Beginners, your eyebrows may never look like twins ever, so the trick is when you line the left side, make sure you line the right side immediately after, so at least they look like sisters at the very least. So when it comes to lining the upper side of the brow, use the spoolie to level the eyebrows first. Don't drag it down, don't brush the eyebrows down. Use it to level. That is going to give you a guideline on where exactly to line. Okay, on the spacing of the eyebrow, it is going to give you a guideline. When you brush it down, it's going to create a lot of space there, and you may overdraw or underdraw. Okay, so when it comes to lining the upper side, the trick here is you see where the eyebrow is carved on the lower side. The curve on the upper side should come slightly before the curve on the lower side. That is why we are going to put a dot slightly before where the curve on the lower side is. Okay, and that is going to give us a guideline on where exactly to start curving it down to meet the line on the lower side. I hope you guys have understood. So around the inner corner, we're going to leave a bit of space. We're not going to start lining directly from where the line on the inner corner starts. Leave a bit of space there, and then we're just going to follow the guideline up until where we created the dot on the upper side, and then start curving it down from that dot. And then when you're curving it down, we're going to follow the angle of the lower side. If the angle is curved outwards on the lower side, we are going to follow that angle on the upper side as well until the two lines meet. That means because we curved it outwards on the lower side, we are going to curve it outwards on the upper side as well until the two lines meet. And please use very little force while you're doing this. When you use too much force, it's going to create a very thick line. So use very little force and make sure your eye pencil is very, very sharp. And then after that, now you can just brush your eyebrows into the lines you created. After that, this is a technique you don't have to use as a beginner, but it is essential if you want your eyebrows to stay longer. So we're going to use a bar soap. Make sure you have it is wet, and we're just going to use the white stuff on the bar soap. So we're just going to use the spoolie to get the white foam. I don't know what exactly to call it, and we're just going to use that white stuff to brush through our eyebrows. And around the inner corner, we're going to brush the eyebrows up. Around from the other side going towards the outer corner, we follow how the eyebrows are shaped. And then after that, we're just going to press the eyebrows in using the other side of the brush. You press it in completely until it sticks to your skin. Okay, and after that, you allow for it to dry out completely before you start filling in. Make sure that soap has dried out completely, and this just technique is going to make our eyebrows more visible, especially for people with it works for both scarce and people with a lot of eyebrows. So, and again, it's a beginner friendly video. That is why we're using a bar soap instead of any other makeup product. So we're opting for something that a beginner can get anywhere, even at home. So when it comes to start filling in, we're going to start filling in from the outer corner. Again, use very little force because our aim is to make our natural hairs very visible. We don't want to look, we don't want the eyebrows to look too artificial. And we're just going to fill in the areas where we feel like there is a space. Where our eyebrows are very, very visible, we're not going to fill in those areas. Just the areas where we feel like there is space, that is where we're going to fill. Towards the inner corner, for some of us, because we do not have hair around the inner corner, we're going to draw hair-like structures. You don't have to do this as a beginner, but some of us don't have hair, as you can see that. So we're just going to create a shadow using the eye pencil, using very little force first, just a shadow before we start drawing the hair-like structures. So when you start drawing the hair-like structures, it falls on the shadow, not just an open space. Okay, and to draw the hair-like structures, we're using a darker eye pencil. That is why I opted for this black eye pencil. Okay, and we are using very little force. Again, make sure it is very sharp. The tip is very, very sharp. And when we're drawing the hair-like structures, we are mimicking our natural eyebrows. So we are starting from, say, a middle to up, middle, like creating a bit of space in between. We're not just starting a line from down going up. We are just mimicking the eyebrows the way they are. So some of them will start from down to the middle, the other one will start from the middle up, the other one may start from the middle to middle. I don't know if you get my drift. And make sure it is very little force, okay? No thick lines, very slender, very little force. So it mimics the eyebrows. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, and that line we drew, the first line, make sure it's a bit longer so it does not look like a block around the inner corner. And that is it for lining and filling in. So next step is to clean the eyebrows, and we're going to use LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. For beginners, we're using a concealer that is 2 shades lighter than our skin tone, and I opted for this concealer specifically because it is very affordable. Any beginner can afford this concealer, and it is thick, so it is very good when it comes to cleaning the eyebrows. And for cleaning the eyebrows, we're going to use a flat brush, not an angled brush. Beginners, flat brush. Avoid this kind of brush, the one I'm holding right now that is angled. Avoid it. For beginner, avoid angled brushes. Make sure your brush, the one you're going to use, is flat on the surface. When you say flat brush, we mean that top of it is flat. So when it comes to applying the product on the brush, make sure it is side to side. The product is concentrated on both sides of the brush, not the tip of the brush, on the sides of the brush. Okay? When you dip the brush onto the product, it is going to concentrate the product on the tip. The product will be accumulated on the tip of the brush, and we want to avoid that. So make sure the product is lying on the side of the brush, because we don't want that harsh one line, because of the the tip has accumulated a lot of product. So again, when it comes to holding the brush, hold it as if you're holding your pen. You see, like that, how you hold your pen to draw, and then you turn it. And make sure your brush is lying flat. When it comes to cleaning, we are not pointing. Now we are doing something different. The brush should lie flat on the surface. And don't hold your hand, don't hold your brush too close to the tip of the brush. Make sure you give it a bit of space. You see where I'm holding it from? There is a bit of space between where the tip of the brush is and where your hand is. Make sure you give it that space so it works. I don't know how exactly to explain. It has a bit of space to work with. It's not too rigid. Give it a bit of space, okay? So when it comes to cleaning, we are not starting directly from the inner corner. We're just leaving a bit of space, just a tiny bit of space around the inner corner. Okay, that is where we're going to start cleaning the eyebrows from. On the inner corner directly, we're going to use a bit of foundation, so at least it matches your skin after. And again, don't leave too much space around the inner corner when you start, because it's going to mess up with your angle. Again, your brush should be lying flat. And for this, when you're cleaning, make sure you stabilize your hands. So you start there directly to where the eyebrow is curved, and you stop there. And now you drag your concealer down as you go. And then after that is when now you can go from where you stopped to where your eyebrow ends. So just make sure you stabilize your hand. Do not be is it called a scribble? Yeah, don't do it like a scribble. Stabilize your hand, and then again when you're cleaning it, clean it outwards, because that is the angle we have been using. We curve it outwards always. And again, drag your concealer down as you go. And when your brush is lying flat while you're cleaning, it does not accumulate just one line of product all through your eyebrow. It's easier to blend it down when it's that way. So around the inner corner, we're going to clean using a foundation that matches your skin tone. Okay? And make sure you clean your brush before you put on the foundation on top of it. Otherwise, it will still have the concealer on it. So it will still be bright. And then when we're cleaning the inner corner, we're going to clean it, blending it into the concealer we started off with. And then after that, you can use your finger to blend in around the edges, so at least it's a very smooth blend. We don't want any harsh lines either on the eyebrow itself, around the inner corner or outer corner. And around the outer corner, if you don't want the harsh bright line, you can use a foundation on top and then blend it in with your finger again. Can you guys see that? It's blending it. It is blending in very well. So I normally don't clean the upper side of the brow nowadays. I want the eyebrow to look as natural as possible. That is why I avoid cleaning the upper side. But if you must, clean the upper side using foundation. But if you use all of the tricks I have shown you in this video, trust me, your eyebrow will be looking amazing. If it does not, come and beat me, come and beat me. I hope I have explained everything in detail, guys. I hope you have understood. I have really tried. English is not my first language, but I have tried explaining. I have really tried. Thank you so much for watching, and guys, get me to 1 million. Thank you. Bye.